I awoke one day to discover the itch was back, that insatiable urge to begin again, to explore, create, to marvel in the beauty of everything around you. The urge we all know well, the urge to play the game. It had been years since I played last. So much had changed. There was so much new in the world to see and do. And so, I once again decided to play Minecraft. But not being content with just an average playthrough, I was going to play hardcore. One life, one chance, one goal. To survive. This wouldn't just be a Minecraft world. That would be too easy. No, I was documenting every moment, every experience, recording every second of playtime from first creating the new world until my last breath in that world. I hesitantly opened the game, ready for the thrills this adventure would bring, but nervous about the consequences that may well follow. After a moment, I named my new world and embarked on a brand new journey. I took a look around at the brand new world in front of me, all the emotions of starting over flooding back. What would I do? Where would I go? How would I make my mark on this landscape? This adventure began like any other, punching trees with fists of fury to obtain my first wood blocks. These wood blocks would serve as the foundation to shape the world any way I wanted. And that's what Day Zero was all about. Gathering basic resources, exploring, and seeing what this new world had to offer me. There was no time to waste. After all, this would be a long and arduous journey. I immediately began gathering the things I would need to survive and eventually thrive in this world. I made wooden tools to collect stone, then used that stone to upgrade them so I could be more efficient. I gathered food to make sure I wouldn't starve. Once I had some resources, I spent the rest of Day Zero exploring, finding a shipwreck and sleeping under the stars on the coast to end the day. At the dawn of Day 1, I explored the shipwreck I had found earlier. Inside was a treasure trove of loot, items that would prove invaluable on my expedition. Gold, emeralds, armor, even diamonds. Wait a second. There's only potatoes? Potatoes and some leather armor? So everything in the chest was useless then? Well, not so fast. The leather armor, while bad, did come with some enchants that would be useful, so it would give me some protection in the early game. It wasn't much, but it could make the difference, and I welcomed every advantage I could get. As for the potatoes, well, those would be very useful long term, granting access to a farmable food source superior to wheat, and eventually villager traits too, so they weren't useless either, just not helpful right now. Frustrated at the subpar loot I found, I decided to go on a cow relocation mission. Sending the cows to a better place did make me feel better. With some mysteriously acquired steak, I started exploring again, eventually finding a village and liberating a villager from their bed. Diplomatically, of course. I think the villagers and I are going to get along quite well here. On Day 2, I wasted no time in my new home. Villagers, if you didn't know, are immensely stupid, and zombies love stupid. I couldn't let my new friends die at the hands of the undead, so I immediately began devising a plan to save them. How, you might ask? Well, it was complicated, but I rang this bell and they all ran into their homes. From there, I could easily protect them from the monsters, by imprisoning them. It may seem cruel, but it was for their own good. After containing the villagers, I set up basic farms. These farms would be crucial in my rise to the top. For now though, I was still very much at the bottom, a fact illuminated by a run-in with a baby zombie. I bravely ran away from this foe, but the zombie was relentless, and I had to face him in a fair fight. It was a close battle, a clash for the history books, but I emerged victorious. BM Animate 1, Baby Zombie 1, fills to 0. Day 2 came to a close, and I lived to see another sunrise. With some basic setup in the village completed, it was time to go on an expedition. A mining expedition. Over the course of days 3 through 6, I would meticulously gather resources from the mines, preparing for the long journey ahead of me. That, however, would be extremely boring to watch, so enjoy this nice montage instead. Wow, what a beautiful montage. I emerged from the mines on day 7, casually decimated a forest, and organized my haul. Just look at all that loot. Day 8 brought some big advancements, and things were starting to pick up. I created a nether portal, began dabbling in the arcane, and upgraded my enchantment table with knowledge.
But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
To end off the day, I brought sheep to the village. These sheep would be crucial for progression later, so it was important to get them set up early. Not much happened on day 9. I destroyed another forest.
Round 2, fight.
And moved the villagers from one prison to another, an arguably worse one. With the villagers snug, I could begin the process of exploiting them for financial gain. Soon, I would have an emerald throne, but more importantly, mending books for my armor and tools. I spent most of day 10 setting up for villager trading, getting a mending villager, and fletchers to make sticks and emeralds. I guess money grows on trees after all. By day 11, it was time to begin the adventure to the Nether. I needed a few resources there, mainly blaze rods, ender pearls, and quartz. I couldn't put it off any longer, and so with no other way to get these materials, I dove through the portal for the first time. Once in the Nether, I immediately built fortifications around my portal, securing my escape. Surprisingly, there was a fortress right next to my spawn point, so finding it was easy.
Too easy.
Getting into it, on the other hand, would be more of a challenge. At the base of the fortress, I was already having issues. There were blazes shooting me from up top, endermen and uneven terrain at the bottom. Clearly, storming this fortress would be difficult, so I needed a plan to bolster my odds. Phase 1. Build a roof so the endermen can't reach me and hide behind the walls so the blaze can't shoot me. Phase 2. Scale the wall and secure my foothold within the fortress, killing any enemies in the way. Phase 3. Gather the materials I need and escape to safety. It was a straightforward plan, so I put it into action. By the end, there were some close calls, and I was lucky to be alive. But I was alive. I spent the rest of day 11 and all of day 12 gathering quartz, XP, and other items I would need. With everything collected, I returned to the safety of the overworld, celebrating my first major victory, conquering the Nether. We got it. The next 15 days were going to be crucial to this story. You see, before I began this journey, I wrote a timeline of events to keep me on track. So far, I was right on time, knocking out task after task. But now, I was staring down the barrel of 3 huge goals to complete in just 15 days. The first of these goals? Well, it was going to be explosive to say the least. Remember when I mentioned how important sheep would be? These sheep would be crucial for progression later? Well, it's their time to shine. Essentially, one of the best methods for getting netherite is blast mining. But getting loads of TNT is super difficult, so what do? Well, isn't it obvious? Just make dozens of beds and use them as explosives. Duh. Armed to the teeth with beds, I returned to the Nether, spending 4 days blowing things up. It was fantastic, but better to show than tell, right? Isn't that awesome? 20 seconds for you, 3 hours for me. In between blowing shit up, I was making preparations. I need a lot of diamonds for smithing templates, so I made a strip mine. Once I had all the diamonds, there was still a lot of downtime, so I began working on the second goal, enchants. This meant it was finally time to exploit the villagers, engaging in a menagerie of mass mending madness. I would spend a day on the surface trading for emeralds and mending books, then spend a day in the Nether blowing things up. I repeated this process until I finally had enough netherite and mending books for all my armor and tools. It took until day 24, but I finally had everything I needed to become unkillable. I began the process of adding enchants to my gear, finding an enchantment I wanted, getting the XP for it, then finding another one. After a full day of this, I combined all the gear I could to create the perfect set. With that, it was day 25, the quarterway mark. The worst was behind us now, and there was so much to look forward to. But let's not celebrate early. There was still one more goal to complete before day 30, and it was the biggest one yet. You may have noticed I didn't get all the enchantments for my gear, or turn it all into Netherite. Well, that's because when you kill the Ender Dragon, you get a ton of XP. That's right, goal 3 was to kill the Ender Dragon and raid the end. I set out on this epic quest, following the Eyes of Ender right to the stronghold, and finally making my way inside. I stole everything worthwhile from the stronghold, and on day 26, I entered the end. What happened next was the legendary battle against the Ender Dragon, one we're all familiar with, so I'll let it speak for itself. Just like that, the Ender Dragon was history. With the dragon defeated, there was only one thing left before all of my goals were completed. I'm talking about raiding the end, of course. By traveling through a dimensional portal, I arrived at the End Islands. From there, I made my way across a barren landscape until I finally found an end city. These cities would have everything I needed, but I would have to raid a lot of them. I spent days 27 to 30 doing just that, finding cities, murdering shulkers, and looting everything inside. After all my hard work, I packed everything neatly into my new shulker boxes and returned to the site of battle. As I jumped into yet another dimensional portal, I could finally check off all 3 of the major goals I had set out to complete. Now I know what you're thinking. How can I check off all 3 goals when I'm wearing diamond armor and some of my gear doesn't even have enchants yet? To that I say, it's my video, I make the rules, suck it up. In all seriousness though, I already had all of the netherite to upgrade the gear, so that goal was done, and for the enchants, I wanted to use the dragon's XP, so I had to wait until I got back for that. With that said, I did spend days 31 to 34 finishing those tasks, so I guess I technically failed, but again, it's my video. Things were really looking good now, but I still needed some basic stuff, like an XP farm, so on day 35, I set out to build one. Like any project, I started by gathering resources. I had infinite netherrack from all the blast mining, so I would use that for most of the build. On day 36, I had everything I needed to get started. By day 37, construction was almost complete, and all I had to do now was get an endermite and a minecart. After dozens of pearls, I finally got one. The farm was finished, and it was time to celebrate. Or so I thought. It was at this moment that tragedy struck. As I was removing blocks around the endermite, it was biting me from the minecart, and well, I'll let the video speak for itself. Ow.
Oh no.
Oh my god. Why did that enderman get mad at me? Why did I have half a heart? Or 1 heart? Holy. Ooh, he's still mad at me. Okay. That's right. My ender almost ended me. but by some miracle, I survived on just 1 heart, saving the hardcore world and my sanity. With that scare out of the way, I built a villager breeder over the next 8 days. I spent way more time on this thing than I should have. But hey, if the villagers are going to be forced to live here until the end of time, it might as well look good, right?
Wow.
It was finally the halfway mark. With 50 days come and gone, I probably wouldn't die for a long time. Up until now, everything had been focused on survival, but with survival basically certain, I could shift my focus to resource collection for my first major build. I would need a lot of blocks, like calcite, bone blocks, endstone, and you know what? It's just easier to show you. So yeah, over 14,000 blocks. Thankfully, just a few days ago, I found a skeleton spawner, so I decided to start with a skeleton farm for bone blocks and dye. On day 51, the farm was already up and running, producing all the bones I would need. Of course, I couldn't leave it looking like this, so I had to spruce it up a bit. Just like the villager breeder, I spent way too much time on it, but by day 55, it was done and looking good. With the farm finished, I could check bone blocks off the list and move on to endstone. This is by far the biggest task, and it even has its own sub-task, so I need a solid plan to get it done. In order to not be stuck mining endstone for the next millennia,
2,000 years later,
I would need a beacon, but for that, I would need 164 resource blocks. Emerald would be the easiest, so I spent until day 59 selling absurd amounts of sticks to villagers until I had enough. This is what 1,476 emeralds looks like. Just kidding, that's only half, but I'll realize that later. With the emeralds collected, I just needed to get the wither skulls and kill the wither. A quick trip to the nether and 89 dead skeletons later, I had all 3 skulls and I was ready. On day 63, I killed the wither. An epic battle that would be hard fought to the bitter— What? Huh? It's over? Well, that was anticlimactic. With the beacon crafted, I set off to begin the process of mining over 12,000 endstone, and that's when I realized I did not get enough emerald blocks. Get haste? Oh no. Well, you know what that means. It's time to sell more sticks. It took another 3 days, but by day 68 I had enough emeralds. For real this time. On day 69, I got level 69.
Nice.
Over the next few days, I put off mining endstone in favor of gathering all the miscellaneous materials. So let's recap quickly. On day 70, I sheared sheep until I could shear no more. Day 71, I mined quartz and crafted the quartz blocks, bricks, and chiseled quartz. Day 72, I finished the bone blocks and gathered the white dye for the concrete. Day 73, I collected sand and gravel, then made concrete powder into concrete. Day 74, I crafted the endstone bricks, and I already had the calcite from the skeleton farm, and that's everything. With all that knocked out, there was only endstone and froglights left. The froglights would be tricky, requiring a mangrove swamp, frogs, and some nether shenanigans. Since I wasn't sure where a swamp was, I decided it was time to start mining endstone, a process that was as boring as it sounds. It was so boring, in fact, that the majority of the footage is silent. And I spent over half an hour saying nothing at all. Boredom aside, on day 77, all the endstone was collected. Look, I'm gonna be honest, I spent almost 15 days looking for a mangrove swamp until I remembered chunk base existed. Not my proudest moment. Anyway, with the swamp found, I could build the froglight farm and finally collect the last resource I would need. While that goes in the background, I want to take a moment to thank you all so much for watching my first video. It was a blast to make, and I can't wait to get started on my next one, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, I plan on streaming the next big project in this world on Twitch, link in the description if you're interested in that. Alright, back to the video. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm building the moon. On day 92, I began construction, and it was a race against time to get it done before day 100. I was placing blocks faster than you could imagine. There was an efficiency in every movement, every decision. The days ticked by one after another until finally— wait a second. Day 101? 102? That's right, I failed my mission.
Mission failed. We'll get 'em next time.
and the build wasn't completed until day 107. If only I hadn't spent so much time looking for that damn swamp. But hey, at least it's finished and looking good. The last block. Bam. Now I just need to decorate the interior, but let's save that for another time. It's a test, may you never let it rest. Be our test, that insatiable urge to begin a new journey. Fuck that. That insatiable, fuck. Just about the consequences that may fuck. God damn it, I was almost there. I took a moment to look around at my brand new world. I took a After all, this would be a long and arduous journey. Arduous? That's right, but, right? There was no time to waste. After all, this would be a long and arduous journey. It wasn't much, but it could make the difference, and every advantage was welcome as far as I was concerned. Leather armor, while bad, did come with some... Eventually finding a village and liberating a villager. I bravely ran away from this foe. Over the course of the days, oh fuck. Their deaths, fuck. Not much happened on day 9. I decimated another fortress. With the villagers snug, I could begin the process of... Surprisingly, there was a fortress right next to my spawn. At the base of the fortress, I was... Huh? There were blazes shooting me from up top. Enderman and none of you... 13 through 15? Fuck. The next 10... Just make dozens of bed and you... Dozens of bed. Remember when I met... Bro, I fucked up immediately. 31 through 4... that's not good. That's not a good take. Really? Fuck. So I would use that for most of the build. It was at this moment tragedy struck. And as I was removed... Why is this so far down? I'll just let the video there. God dang it. I spent more... But for that, I'd need... God dang it, man. It's time to sell some sticks. That's bad. Ah, fuck. Concrete powder into concrete. Day 74, I crafted the endstone bricks, and I already had the fuck. Anyway, with the swamp finally found, on day 92, day 101, kind of fucked that. Now I just need to decorate, fuck. Just a reminder, I'll be live streaming on Twitch, so if you want to see me make a fool of myself, come and hang out for a while. Thank you again for watching. I'm really looking forward to making more videos, and I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.